gave you a minor, I challenged you, okay, so come back at me. All right. Okay. Please, all of you, pay attention to this, all right? I am doing this work not for me, but for you, all right? These are things that improve this site and make it better for you and more possible for you to succeed, all right? And so I'm going to go through this once. I am filming it. And so I will start by saying, no matter what you see, you might see sidebars over here on the right, and you might not. If you don't, again, you should know this by now because it's not the first time I've shared this with you. You can quickly populate them by just clicking the little expand arrow from the dock and putting all those things out there. And I'm going to put all those things out there for right now. One reason that I'm doing this is because, are we listening? Because I've set it so that they all fall in the same exact place, top to bottom. The most important ones on top, the less important ones on bottom. I'll probably get rid of calendar until I find some sort of use for it. Right now it's not doing anything. Okay, and again, notice now, I don't like all that. I don't need that right now. So I can, of course, just collapse it. And this gives me a nice full view of everything in that sidebar. Now, there are some new things. And so that's what I'm here to show you. The first new thing, I may have put this up before break, I don't remember, is the activities one. Please click on the, open up the activities one. And in a new tab, go to forums, just to see what its use is. I will do the same. So here we are on forums. It breaks down into two parts. The general forums, that's the announcements and stuff on the top. That's not required stuff. And then the second part below that, as you see if you look at the screen, learning forums. Those are the forums that I assign to you. Those are the forums that you should do. Those are the forums that if you have not done are hurting your grade, okay? So you can easily scroll down and you can click on the forum to see the forum. That's all I have to say about that, other than one thing. I've been reading and catching up on grading, you may have noticed in Power School, and I love reading these things when they're good. I love reading them when they're good. And so sometimes I answer you, I reply, because I'm like, that's so cool, right? Or, sorry, but I see it a different way, or whatever, right? Not sorry, but I see it a different way, or whatever. What I still have not learned about this is how to make it possible for you to see when I reply to you. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So I'm working on that. That's my next goal. I'm going to pause for a second, and I want you to lower your screens to hear this as clearly as you can. One thing that I discovered when doing the grading catch-up is that the people that made Ds and Fs were the same people who weren't doing the forums. The people who made C++, Bs, which with the curve became Bs and As, they're the people who were doing the forums regularly. They were the people who were doing what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do is not Mr. Burrell's way of teaching. It is a standard way of teaching that not many teachers use called, and hear this, writing to learn. You're not writing for a grade, you're writing to help yourself learn. And let me explain how that works. And I've already given you the evidence. Those who have done all the forums, they're the ones who did well on the tests, right? Because writing to learn helped them learn it. That's the whole goal. Writing to learn is simply this. In class, there's a lot of information. That's why I have you keep notes in your notebook. You really should, by the way, cultivate that skill of taking good detailed notes and being as brief as you can. Not so brief that you don't know what you're writing when you look at it later, but not so long-winded that you get behind in the lecture. That's a skill, right? And so challenge yourself to actually see if you can do that. It takes energy and it takes focus. Second, you take that notebook home, you look over it, and you are learning simply by going, okay, I'm going to choose the one most interesting thing. So this one, that was pretty interesting. This one, that was kind of, oh, this one's really interesting. That's what I'm going to write about. Notice what just happened. You have just like consolidated, refreshed, reviewed, internalized through a second processing everything that was covered in class that day, right? Refreshing your memory, possibly clarifying some things, possibly realizing you don't get some things, which is just as important, because then you can go, one thing that I don't get, right? I will be reading them much more frequently. And so one thing I don't get, included in your forum, because then somebody can go, oh, yeah, that's this, and clear it up for you, help you learn. And then you go onto that forum. Now, from this point out, the forum process will be simply this. Every single class there will be one. If I say no homework, that means nothing besides the MIT, most interesting thing from today's forum, right? If I say no homework, that's still due because that's where you're actually doing the learning. And that MIT forum will be, as most of them have been, I want you to hear this, a kitchen sink intro. Discuss amongst yourselves why I'm saying the kitchen sink intro is a valuable writing tactic for you to use. There are 2 reasons it's valuable for you. Please discuss how, A, define what is a kitchen sink intro. B, what are the 2 reasons that it's valuable and helpful? Go. I want to see discussions.
What you're actually going to write about. And then you continue.
Do we have the 2 reasons that it's useful? Okay, so pat yourself or whoever on the back if they defined a kitchen sink intro as one that says, in one sentence with many, many commas, when thinking about A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma, and E, all of them are really interesting, but F is the most interesting, and that's what I'm going to write about here. That's a kitchen sink intro. You're being specific. You're not just saying, we learned a lot of stuff today, but no, you're saying we learned this, 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 and this. You're throwing in the whole kitchen sink. You're not leaving anything out. And then pat yourself on the back if you hit both of them. What's one value of it? It reminds you when you review of everything that you didn't write about, and that's enough. It processes. And 2, it shows your reader that you know so much. Use this in the SAT. Use this in your essays for other classes. Use this whenever you want your ethos to be one that projects to the reader this impression. Wow, they know so much more, right? In one sentence. It's brilliant, okay? So that will be the routine. A kitchen sink intro, the most interesting thing, what it is, and why it was most interesting to you. Try to be interesting. And a picture. And not just some lame-ass first thing I found on Google picture, right? Okay. Let's go back to our next thing. So that's activities. Lesson objectives. Please open up the lesson objectives. And please click the View Objectives. And tell me and yourself why this is valuable for you when reviewing for a core knowledge test. Look at it and tell me why it's valuable for you when reviewing for a core knowledge test. You don't have to look at the whole thing. Just look at it and then quickly state the obvious to each other. What's the value of it? What's the value of it? Okay, pat yourself on the back and give yourself a cookie. Cookies are coming, actually. If you said, oh, hey, when I'm reviewing for a test, those are the things, like, I hit them, right? And if I don't know them, it's like, okay, that's what I need to know. Where can you go to find that? Maybe somebody wrote about the one you don't know and the most interesting things for them. You can also go to the past videos, or above all, to your notebook, where it should be, because it will be covered. Because this is useful for me and you. When I'm on my game, I will be making these for every single unit, every single lesson. And I will go down every single item on it, making sure that everybody gets the same information, and so forth. And that means it should be in everybody's notebooks. Bam, straight up. Next. Yeah. I'm still working on the check marks. And right now it seems a little buggy. But so even though they don't work, it's still there, right? When I click, there are two settings. I can make it so only I check it, you check it, and I haven't played with that enough. I wish I had a twin who I could just say, hey, you be the student and I'll be the teacher, so that I could go through all this stuff and see what, how it works, but I don't. So if anybody wants to make a twin for me, we'll talk. Okay, now next, this one's really helpful for you. Open up course completion status and click on View Course Report. You with me? Course completion status, View Course Report. Now I'll do it. Let's see, you guys are, okay. Okay, good. With this view, you can't see the names of the students, right? But look what it shows me. This is the teacher view of it. Do you see something similar for just you? Huh? Does it have a completed yes or no column? That's what you want to know. Look what I see, though. I see that, let's see, which student is awesome? This one, because this student completed every single one of them. This one was like the last day before spring break, so that's okay, right? And which student can I predict made a D on the test? Oh my God, this one, because these are like the first 2 days of class. This one, right? So you see that, right? So this shows me at a glance, who to take seriously and who not. Noah, is that a hand or? Don't worry about that stuff. That might just be because I enabled it recently, okay? The value of this for you is, where does it say no? This is, okay? Robert, the value of this is, which ones did I not do? Course completion report. Because I need to do them. Yeah? I told A4, and I told you guys at B4, I told B3 that they had until Wednesday, but I take that back. I'm giving you until Friday to do the ones that you have not done. If it's busy work, if it's crap, you'll go from an F to a D. If it's done sincerely, you get a B plus maximum. I'm not going to give you an A level because the other people who did the work deserve that A, not those who didn't, right? But I will take it up to a B plus if it's good. Okay, and so that's due Friday by the end of the day, Friday 3 o'clock. You might want to write that down somewhere. If you've got something to keep up on, you do all of your missing forums by Friday. That's 10% of your grade. If you get an F in that, you've just lost a full letter grade because that's the daily work. Let me remind myself of that. Next. Well, that's about it. Yep, that's it. So now you can put your laptops away, and please do that. And get out your journals, and let's get back on track after spring break.